One of the most interesting things about Samsung's Galaxy S26, the base version, is how most people keep saying it is the same phone as the last generation, but that is not entirely true. Hear me out. So this is the base version of Samsung's Galaxy S26, which has received very little to no coverage so far, mostly because everyone assumes it's the same phone. I've had it with me for a couple of days, and here are a few things you need to know if you're considering picking up this device. Yes, a couple of things have not changed over the last 3 generations, but that does not mean it is the same phone. Let's first get the complaints out of the way. It's the base version, and it's the one Samsung seems to not pay much attention to when it comes to improvements. So we've basically had the same hardware, the same camera specifications, no noticeable improvements to the display, and the fact that a lot of the exciting features you see on the Ultra, you don't get them here. Plus, the price increase does not help its case. So what exactly do you get with the Samsung Galaxy S26? Whatever I say here also applies to the Galaxy S26 Plus, since they are basically the same phones except for the size and battery difference. For starters, you can see some improvements to the design, which now makes it more uniform with the Ultra, with the exception of the extra cameras. And then there's the fact that the display size is now 6.3 inches compared to 6.2 inches with the previous generation. It now has a base storage of 256 gigs compared to 128 from previous generations. And then performance improvements thanks to the new processor Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy, or the 2nm Exynos 2600 depending on your region. Plus one more important upgrade, which is the battery capacity, 4300 mAh, which is a welcome improvement. Though not the biggest when compared to other compact smartphones, but then I think we all appreciate the improvement. Now, while this may not have gotten some of the exciting features from the Ultra like the privacy display or the camera hardware, which has mostly remained the same, it still gets the Horizon Lock feature, which you'll agree with me counts as an improvement. Although there's a good chance previous generations might get this feature since we have it here. But the fact remains that it's here. So you don't actually need the Ultra for that. It still gets mostly the same software features as the Ultra, including AI. I say mostly because for some reason I can't find Perplexity here. Let me know if you have it on your device, if you have the base Galaxy S26. Now, in terms of actual usage and who this is targeted at, I feel like the Galaxy S26 is still one of the most consistent, or should I say most reliable, compact phones you can get right now. The only areas you might find it lacking when compared to other compact smartphones of this generation is probably the battery capacity and the fact that most of the hardware can be traced to at least 3 generations back. But in actual use case, does it feel like an outdated phone? I don't think so. You can say the increased price makes it easier to recommend the iPhone 17 over this one, but then I think we all know that it is either you're picking Android or iOS. Most people that want this are probably not considering an iPhone. Correct me if I'm wrong. The only argument I think you can make on that front is that it does not really have enough interesting features to make an iPhone 17 user or iPhone 16 user, for example, switch to this one. Is it the best compact smartphone out there? Probably not. Is it one of the most reliable? Definitely. Also one of the most accessible. The display is gorgeous, the device still feels good on the hands, and it's recommendable to someone that doesn't want the larger sized smartphones. Does this mean there are no improvements Samsung could have made here? Nah, that's not what I'm trying to say. The Galaxy S26 and S26 Plus deserves better treatment Samsung should bring, even if it's just a privacy display. Make it more interesting for buyers. Better still, do it like Google or Apple, a compact version with some of the Ultra features, even if you don't have to add the S Pen. I believe it will become one of the best-selling smartphones. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like Samsung should have kept the S26 at 6.2 inches display size. Don't get me wrong, 6.3 inches is solid, it's still compact, I guess, and they probably have a good reason, but I feel like we're straying farther away from what should be compact. Who knows, in the not too distant future, we might have 6.5 inches as a new compact form factor. They probably have a good reason. It could be for the battery size, or they have the data. Maybe most people just prefer 6.3 inches. I don't know, what do you guys think? One of the interesting new features you still find here is the audio eraser feature. I'm not talking about when you are editing videos, but when you are watching videos, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and you find some noise which you prefer not to have in the video, a quick swipe down the control panel and you'll see the audio eraser feature. Works really nice. The cameras on the Galaxy S26 is still very reliable, although not ultra level good since it doesn't have the extra camera features. But for the average user that just wants to capture memories, not really interested in long-range zoom, this gets the job done pretty well. It is also not lacking in video capabilities. While it might not have that new APV mode, you still get log video mode, you still get pro video, and it can still shoot videos up to 8K 30 FPS. Plus, like I mentioned before, you still get the horizon lock feature. So while the cameras of the Galaxy S26 Ultra has not really changed much, you really can't fault its performance. It's still right up there with the best when it comes to overall camera performance, image processing. This is portrait video mode, or cinematic mode as the iPhones call it, and I'm currently shooting from the selfie camera, so you can see how good it is, at least from what I can see. So compared to other compact ones around there, it's not ultra level cameras, but it still measures up. I guess it's something you can actually see for yourself and rate whether it is good. Like I said before, while it doesn't have the APV mode, it still has log video, it still shoots 8K at 30 frames per second. So it's still a pretty solid phone. I like all of the new software features with One UI 8.5, still one of the best software experiences out there, and you're not going to be lacking most of the features by getting the S26. I'm still not happy about the fact that the charging speed has remained the same, but it's still a small battery, so I guess that's enough. Now, one thing to note about the battery life, while there's improvement by about 300 milliamperes, it can still be better. Depending on how you use your phone, of course, you get upwards of 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, which I guess is sufficient for a compact phone. But then this particular phone I'm holding right here belongs to my brother who got it but was not really impressed with the battery life, and he switched to a Xiaomi 17 which has silicon carbon, over 6000 milliamperes of battery. So what am I saying in essence? The Galaxy S26 is still an improvement to previous generations. Does that mean you should upgrade from an S25 to this? It doesn't have enough. Another thing we can also agree on is the fact that Samsung could have done way better with this phone to make it more interesting. As I've mentioned before, it deserves better. If you are thinking to buy one right now, I won't say go buy the S25 instead because you want to save some cash. This will definitely give you improved performance overall. But yeah, if you're using the S25 or probably even the S24, you could still stick with that one. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the Galaxy S26. I still have a video coming up on the Galaxy S26 Ultra, so stay tuned for that one. I've been daily driving this one for at least a week, and I have a lot of things to say. Catch you in the next one, and do subscribe to the channel.